What's up everyone, 9th Jim here, back with another VGC 2020 Pokemon Sword and Shield competitive video. Today, we're talking about Octillery, the Octazooka Pokemon himself. This Pokemon's really interesting, a very old Pokemon, mono water typing, pretty solid stats, pretty cool ability, very interesting, and a pretty good move pool. Honestly, this Pokemon's pretty cool and is underrated and very underused in the meta, in today's current VGC 2020 meta, and it's unfortunate because this Pokemon, has a good bit going for it, to be honest. So, without further ado, let's talk about it. So, mono water typing is pretty solid typing, actually, giving us only 2 weaknesses while giving us 4 resistances. Resistances being fire, water, ice, steel, and its weaknesses being electric and grass. Overall, not too bad. All of the attacks, in its resistances and weaknesses are all very commonly played typings, so it's pretty good, and it's not too bulky, but it's not very, very frail, so its resisted hits will definitely be able to, you can bring this Pokemon in against resisted hits and take a couple of attacks and absorb a good bit of damage, so that's pretty cool. As far as its ability goes, it's very interesting. It has the ability Moody, which at the end of every turn, a random stat is increased by 2, and then one other stat is lowered by 1. Very, very interesting. You can hit some really lucky stats, and you can hit some unfortunate things. You can go up in attack while it's a special attacker, and then go down in defense while your opponent's using 2 physical attack Pokemon. It's a very interesting build, a very interesting ability, but at the same time, you could get your crazy stat boosts that just win the game. A couple of unfortunate things also about it is, if you use Trick Room, and then at the end of the turn, your speed is increased too. That's pretty unfortunate, but it can also get decreased 1, which can be beneficial. So if you're your special attack is increased by 2 and then speed is decreased by 1, that's like about the best case scenario, because you get a weakness policy essentially, and then a buff as far as Trick Room goes as well. Very, very interesting stuff here. As far as our ability goes, our HP is at 75, defense 75, and special defense at 75. Very well rounded as far as bulk goes. None of it is super great, but it's all very average. Bulk Pokemon makes for a pretty solid Pokemon. As far as our attack is also very average. Attack and special attack both at 105, so you can really pick which way you want to go, physical or special. We went with special just because I like this move pool a little bit better for special. And then its speed is at 45, which screams Trick Room to me personally, and I think to a lot of players. 45, you can, with your minimal speed investment, it can be fast enough to outspeed all these Trick Room Pokemon. However, if you go min speed, the very, very slowest speed, you can outspeed a lot of really good Pokemon under Trick Room, and against Trick Room teams, you can just prevent Trick Room with your Trick Room user, and then kind of just be faster than all of their Trick Room Pokemon. So the Pokemon's pretty solid, honestly, and yeah, pretty excited to talk about this Pokemon. So that's going to be it for our overview. We'll go ahead and talk about the build itself. As far as the actual build goes, we are going with that ability Moody. In my opinion, it's my favorite of its abilities. You can also try something like Sniper, giving you a higher crit hit chance for crit hit heightened attacks. We don't really have any good ones though, so that doesn't really help us that much. And then the other ability sucks. I don't even remember what it is. Suction cups, you can't get switched out by moves. Very useless. Very useless. Anyway, so item, we went with choice specs. This is very solid, actually, giving us that 1.5 times special attack whenever we're non-Dynamax. This is really good, making this Pokemon a not very needed to Dynamax Pokemon, hitting really, really heavy attacks. And then you can also use it as a Dynamax or non-Dynamax flexible type Pokemon with things like Assault Vest, Expert Belt, Life Orb, all of these other damaging moves, or other more damaging attack items, or even, healthy items like that Assault Vest. You can really use this Pokemon a couple of different ways. However, here we have it as the non-Dynamaxed attacking version with choice specs, and that's how we're looking at it today. As far as our moves go, we have Water Spout, Energy Ball, Ice Beam, Flamethrower, a very wide range of attacks, giving us a lot of really good coverage against a lot of Metamons, giving us that Water Spout for really high damage. You really want to have Trick Room set before bringing this Pokemon in so that it doesn't take damage, so that Water Spout, after choice specs, Water Spout does so much damage to everything, 1.5 times with choice specs and stab, and then Water Spout doing 150 BP. Very, very strong attack. Also hitting both Pokemon. Very, very good stuff. Next, we have Energy Ball, Ice Beam, Flamethrower. These are the 3 that I went with for coverage, really denying a lot of good Pokemon, doing a lot of damage against those Pokemon. Ice Beam, Flamethrower, both having really good access to killing grass type Pokemon, which threaten this Pokemon. And then, pretty cool stuff there. And then we also have a couple of other moves here, a lot of them on the right. We have Sludge Bomb, Scald, Icy Wind, Psychic, Flash Cannon, all very good other coverage moves. A couple of those providing us a really strong move when Dynamax, so if you go with the Life Orb to be a Dynamaxing Pokemon, you can use all these other things like Psychic set Terrain, Flash Cannon set, the special defense, or the defense boost. We have Sludge Bomb even to lower their special attack. It's a very interesting Pokemon. It can be used a lot of different ways. As far as our supporting attack set, if you don't use Assault Vest or a choice item, we have Helping Hand, Soak, Thunder Wave. A lot of very, very good moves here that can be used very well. However, this Pokemon is very slow, so you'll have to have Trick Room before bringing this Pokemon in if you want to do any of those attacks. But still, really cool Pokemon. That's it for the moves that we're going to be talking about. We'll go ahead and talk about its stats. So as far as the Vs that we went with, we have 252 into HP and 252 into special attack, and then went min speed, 0 speed, and quiet nature, giving us that plus special attack minus speed so that we're the slowest possible. So that when we bring out Trick Room, this Pokemon can just outspeed every single Pokemon, do a lot of damage with choice specs, and max special attack. Very cool stuff here. This Pokemon is very interesting. A couple of synergetic things that we can play with here is first off a Trick Room Pokemon thing, something like Dusclops, Hatterene, Indeedee, other common Trick Room Pokemon. All of them, Chandelure, Mimikyu, a lot of potential here with using a Trick Room Pokemon on this team. Next, we have Excadrill as the other one. Excadrill kind of just destroys our electric Pokemon that we're kind of afraid of with this Pokemon. It also giving us really good defense boosts with Max Quake and Max Steel Spike, making Octillery just stand there for a while. It's very, very good. The only unfortunate thing is that Excadrill doesn't really like Trick Room because it's commonly pretty fast. So play it correctly is what I'm saying. Anyway, that's about it for the build. As far as this goes, we'll go ahead and talk about some speed tiers here. So at speed tiers, we're at 45 on the same speed tier as Conkeldurr. However, a lot of Conkeldurrs will not be hindering min speed. A lot of them will be uninvested, so we'll usually be able to outspeed Conkeldurr once Trick Room is set. However, Conkeldurr will be outspeeding us most of the time when Trick Room is not set. Pretty interesting stuff there. A couple of things we do outspeed initially, things like Rhyperior, Gastrodon, Hatterene, Dusclops, Torkoal, Ferrothorn. A lot of commonly good Trick Room Pokemon are going to be able to outspeed us once Trick Room is set. So against other Trick Room teams, then you're going to not want to allow, if you're going with Octillery on that team, on that spread, you don't really want to bring Octillery in unless you're keeping the Trick Room out of the way. So, if you're up against another Trick Room team, make sure to deny that Trick Room because Rhyperior, Gastrodon, Hatterene, Dusclops, all these Pokemon are going to be outspeeding you, which is really unfortunate. A couple of things we do outspeed, Supersized Gourgeist min speed, Clefairy, Mudsdale's most common spreads. They can both outspeed you if they're min speed, but they're not going to be like 9 out of 10 times. Next, we have Jellicent at hindering. No matter what, you outspeed Jellicent once Trick Room is set, and no matter what, Jellicent will be outspeeding us. So that's interesting. That's about it for our speed tiers. Not too bad and not too great, honestly. Next, we have our damage calcs. Now, this is where this Pokemon shines. It has a lot of really good guaranteed OHKOs or just high chance OHKOs in general. So, first off, we have Water Spout with choice specs max invested into a very, very defensive Incineroar, 236 HP and 236 plus special defense, being that calm or careful in nature. Very, very high damage here, hitting 106 to 126%, guaranteed OHKO into a very defensive Incineroar. This is really, really good. Water Spout is very powerful. Next, we have our Octillery Ice Beam into a Dragapult. Now, this is a guaranteed OHKO into a non-Dynamax Dragapult. However, they commonly will Dynamax, and sometimes will have weakness policy. So be very, very careful against those. You do have a guaranteed 2-hit KO, which is very good. Oh, excuse me. Anyway, so Dragapult, pretty good matchup having an Ice Beam. It does do a lot of damage to us, so keep that in mind. Next, we have Energy Ball from our Octillery into a Rotom Wash. Very defensive as far as HP goes. Not too defensive other than that, but max invested into HP. Hitting 86 to 103%, 18.8% chance to OHKO. Not a great chance to OHKO here, but it is what it is, and it does return OHKO us with a max lightning from an uninvested. However, if it is not max and is not invested, it will only hit 73 to 89% off of its own Thunderbolt, so there's a good chance we'll be able to live that, rebuttal. Next, we have Leaf Storm from a Venusaur into our Octillery, hitting 141 to 168%. Guaranteed OHKO. This is something that shouldn't come too much as a surprise, because Venusaur is very, very strong. Venusaur does a lot of damage. It's very fast. But if we set our own Trick Room, then Ice Beam will do a lot of damage to it. So that's good. Or Flamethrower, either way. Next, we have Octillery Water Spout into an Excadrill. We are at a guaranteed OHKO against its non-Dynamax form, and then also a guaranteed OHKO against its Dynamax form with our Choice Specs Octillery Water Spout. Very, very good. However, it might have Focus Sash. Still very, very good matchup against a lot of really good Pokemon. Things like Excadrill, probably good matchup against Dragapult, decent against Rotom Wash, very good against Excadrill. There's a lot of other Pokemon that we have a very good matchup against. With Energy Ball, we can take down Gastrodons, we can take down Rhyperior, with, Water Spouts as well. Very, very good Pokemon as far as damage goes with the Choice Specs. Anyway, that's going to be it for our damage calcs. We'll go ahead and move on to Single Spotlight here real quick before signing out. Hint, hint, it's a very, very similar build to our first build. If you looked at them side by side, you'd be like, wow, this is no different. Well, it's just speed. That's it. We just went with Modest instead of Quiet, and then also left its 31 IVs into its speed. So we're at 65, since a lot of the time we're not going to be using this on Trick Room Team. We're still going to be using it as Choice Specs to take out a lot of Pokemon, very, very high damage, powerful Pokemon with HP. Just to live. Good spread move. You can definitely change around the moves, however, though, just to, accompany your team a little bit better. Anyway, that's going to be about it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Octillery is very good. In sum up, I think it's really cool and underrated. It does a lot of damage, has a really good move pool. It's interesting. It has a very interesting ability, and yeah, overall, it's a pretty cool Pokemon. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Go ahead and leave a like and subscribe. It means so much to me. It warms my heart. Have a great evening or day, whatever time zone it is. Have a great of that time zone. Don't forget to join my Discord if you want to. We can talk more about doing battles. I know I've been challenged to a couple of battles by a couple of people, and I didn't mean to just leave you on red if you emailed me or if you messaged me about it or commented down below about it. Just join my Discord. We can talk more about it there. I have a couple of things in the works that I'd like to have more people in my Discord for. So if you're interested in that, link will be in the description below to join the Discord. And if you don't care about that, then it's fine. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.